So the first lesson we are going to focus on is just getting familiar with our piano. We have a total of 12 keys that go in order, and then once it gets past the 12th key, it restarts at 1. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and it's 1 again. Okay, and I am going to use a mix of letters and numbers because in bands a lot of times we use something called the Nashville number system, and this number system allows for multiple people who are playing different keys to coordinate in the same key by using numbers instead of letters. So we always start with C, and the reason we start with the key of C is just because from using all the white keys, C goes in order without having to touch any black keys. But there are 7 white keys. You have C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and then what comes after B? C. Okay? And it can be confusing to figure out where the white keys and the black keys are in reference to each other. It's harder for people to figure out where C is if they aren't paying attention to the black keys. So let's take a moment and look at the black keys. We have from the bottom of the piano to the top of the piano a pattern that happens every single time on every single piano. And the pattern goes 2 black keys and then 3 black keys, 2 black keys, 3 black keys, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. Obviously at the bottom of the piano on this one, there's 1 key at the bottom, but that would be part of a set of 3. So now that you know that there is a pattern, that helps you differentiate what the white keys are. And so if you look at the 2 black keys, and you go to the white key right to the left of it, that will be C. Equally, if you go to the 3 black keys and you go to the white key right to the left of it, that would be F. Okay? We start with C, middle C, because we can go down and up in the alphabet until we get to the letter that we're trying to get to. And at the beginning, it may take you more times of going through your alphabet in order to get to where you're trying to go, but take your time. Figure out what the keys are because that's super important. So we have C, D, E, F, G. From C to G is a perfect fifth, or an interval that we use in music to start to create a chord. We will get to that later. But there are a bunch of intervals that go in between these that will also be important. So let's look at those. We have a half step interval, and a half step interval is going to be from every white to black key consecutively. That means every single key from the bottom to the top of the piano, if you played them in order, that is a half step interval. So we're going to go just from C to C, half step intervals. When you play this, the correct way to play it is to go from your thumb to your middle finger when you're going between white and black keys, and from your thumb to your pointer finger when you're going between white keys. So we would go C, it's called C sharp, this is D, this is D sharp, this is E, this is F because there's no black key, so you use your pointer finger, and then you go middle finger again up for F sharp, and you have G, G sharp, A sharp or B flat, we'll get to that, B, and then C. Okay, so a little faster. Half step intervals is just going up one by one until you get back to C. So I would suggest practicing that a few times. All right, so now we're going to move on to whole step intervals. Whole step intervals are skipping 1 key. Now, it can get tricky because sometimes a whole step is skipping a black key, and sometimes a whole step is skipping a white key. And so in the case of these first few notes, we skip the black key, okay? So when it comes to the 2 black key in the pattern of 2, 3, 2, 3, we will skip the black keys. And so you have C, whole step from C goes to D, whole step from D goes to E. But now it gets tricky because between E and F, we do not have a black key. So we are going to have to skip to the black keys and skip F right here. So remember, we skipped from C to D, a black key, from D to E, a black key. But from E up to do a whole step, you have to skip to this black key, which is F sharp. Now that we're on the black keys, we have to skip the white key to the next black key, white key to the next black key, and then white key, but there's not a black key, to the white key. So in total, you have under the 2 of the 2-3, you have C, D, E, and then you skip up to play the sharps of the 3 keys, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, and you're back at C, okay? This together can be confusing. Just understand the whole steps are where you skip one of the keys. We will use that later. The next interval that you have is a minor third interval. Minor third intervals are taking us skipping 2 steps. Instead of just skipping 1 key for the whole step interval, we skip 2 keys for the minor third interval. And so that would look like going from C, skipping C sharp, skipping D, and going to D sharp. Oh, and you can start to hear that minor sound, that kind of sad or mysterious sound. Okay, and then if you went from this key to the next minor third interval, it would take you skipping E and skipping F until you got to F sharp. And you hear again that minor sound right there. Okay, these 3 we'll talk about later creates a diminished chord, but you have this all around. You don't have to start at C. You could start at G. Right here, if you start at G and you want to make a minor third interval, you're going to skip this black key and this white key until you get up to the next black key, like that. Now, whenever I'm training kids, I like to explain the patterns using the notes that are left in between. Instead of you having to think, oh, this is a minor third interval or this is a major third interval, you are thinking of how many notes you're leaving in between. And so if I play C, a minor third interval, I'm looking not at the keys that I have pressed down, but in between those keys, what is left, right? And if you look right here, you have these 2 notes. There are 2 notes that are left. So if I played from here, in this interval, you would be able to tell me it's a minor because we have these 2 keys left. But if I were to play here, that would not be a minor because we have 3 keys that are left up instead of 2. So practice on the piano. You can start at the beginning with C and whatever chord makes the minor, and you could move up. It can be kind of challenging, but try to go through every note and skip 2 of the keys so that you can continue to make minor thirds all the way up until you get back to C. The next interval, okay, so we've been through half step intervals, which is every key. We've been through whole step intervals, which is skipping 1 key. We've been through minor third intervals, which is skipping 2 keys. And now, one of the most popular intervals is the major third interval, which is skipping 3 keys. Okay, so if you think of minor and major being less or more, if you have a minor problem, you have a smaller problem. If you have a major problem, you have a larger problem. And so if I say to play a minor interval, and then I say to play a major interval, you are going to make the space in between bigger or smaller. So if we have a minor third interval, which is skipping 2, and I say, okay, now play a major third interval, you are going to move up 1 because it's a bigger thing. And now you have 3 keys that are left in between. This is a major third. It goes from C to E. If you move up 1 and you try to play the same thing using only the white keys, you'll find a problem again of right now you only have 2 white keys. And so you only have 2 keys in between. So you would have to move this up so that you have the 3 keys in between. Okay? Major third intervals leaves 3 keys in between your 2 fingers.